A dying empire flickered beneath the shadow of its own collapse. The Valorians, once rulers of 1,000 systems, now clung to survival like embers struggling against a cold wind. Their star forges had dimmed, their fleets lay in ruins, and their people had begun to accept the quiet, suffocating truth: the Empire's age had ended. Only one hope remained. An ancient prophecy that spoke of a spark from beyond the veil, a being not born of Valorian blood, reignite their fading light. Priests whispered it, scholars dismissed it, generals mocked it, and the Emperor, old and wary, had long ceased believing, until the day a small, battered escape vessel drifted into the dying Empire's territory. A vessel of human design, it crashed on the outskirts of Karan City, sending a shockwave through the dusty plains. Soldiers rushed to contain the wreckage, expecting a threat. Every day a weapon, a monster. Instead, they found a single unconscious human inside, barely alive, burned, bruised, and breathing shallowly. His name was Rylan Ward, and the Valorians had no idea that this fragile, half-dead human would change everything. Rylan woke days later in a medical chamber. They surrounded by towering blue, skinned figures, luminous eyes. They spoke softly among themselves, unsure whether he was friend, foe, or omen. When he finally sat up, disoriented and weak, a Valorian healer said, "You should not be alive. Your vessel passed through 3 collapsed warplanes." Rylan smiled faintly. Human stubbornness. "We don't die easy." The Valorians exchanged glances. Their empire had forgotten what stubbornness looked like. Rylan learned the truth quickly. Famine in the outer colonies, failing technology, civil fractures, old enemies gathering at the borders. The Empire didn't need a hero, they needed a miracle. But Rylan wasn't a warrior. He wasn't royalty. He wasn't even part of a military fleet anymore. His ship had been a cargo hauler delivering relief supplies. Before it was pulled into a gravity storm, he was just one human, yet even one human was enough. When he heard about the failing star forges, the ancient reactors that once fueled the Empire's fleets, he insisted on seeing them. Valorian engineers scoffed. "They are beyond saving," they told him. "We have tried everything." Rylan walked into the largest forge, coughed through the dust, studied the melted conduits, the broken coolant cycles, the inefficient energy cores. Then he sat down with a toolkit and said, "Let's fix it." The engineers stared. "You're serious?" "Yeah," Rylan said. "Show me your schematics." They brought him ancient diagrams, many half erased, some centuries old. Rylan frowned. "You've been using reactors based on century-old logic loops. Our ancestors designed these." An engineer sniffed with pride. "And your ancestors didn't have human wiring tape and a complete disregard for safety protocols." Rylan muttered. "And so he worked. Not with miracles. Not with destiny. Not with prophecy. Just with human creativity. Stubborn, reckless, brilliant creativity. He crawled through reactor tunnels, rewired conduits, exposed dying circuitry, patched energy cores with improvised parts, and used human fusion stabilizers in ways no sane scientist would attempt. He did not sleep much. He did not rest. 3 days later, the Star Forge ignited. For the first time in a century, its core flared with living fire, spilling golden light across the industrial plains.
3-day.
Valorians across Karan City stared in disbelief as ancient banners glowed once more under the forge's brilliance. Engineers wept. Soldiers fell to their knees. Priests whispered the prophecy with renewed fear and awe. A spark from beyond the veil. But Rylan wasn't done. He traveled from colony to colony, teaching them how to repair neglected machines, how to rewire their failing infrastructure, how to adapt, innovate, try. He trained their engineers to think like humans. Stray from the manual, experiment, break the rules, rebuild bigger. And everywhere he went, light followed. Agricultural domes began producing food again. Warp lanes reopened. Communication networks surged with new life. The fleets once grounded by failure rose into the sky. The dying empire inhaled a breath it had forgotten how to take. Word spread. People whispered his name in awe. Rylan the Spark. Rylan the Mad Engineer. Rylan the human who fixed the impossible. The prophecy became a rallying cry, not of superstition, but of hope. But hope draws enemies. The Dracuran swarm, long waiting for the Valorians to collapse entirely, launched a massive attack. Thousands of ships cutting across the border like claws of midnight. While the Valorians scrambled to assemble defenses, Rylan stood among the engineers, directing frantic repairs on ships that hadn't flown in decades. These vessels were old, rusty, obsolete. Ryland slapped their hulls and said, "If it still has metal, we can make it fly."